Resident Evil's identity as a series is about as consistent as the scales of a schizophrenic chameleon. That is to say that it isn't consistent. Or maybe it's consistently inconsistent? I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of very different Resident Evil games. The franchise has struggled with its identity over the years. Is it a classic survival horror game with fixed camera angles and tank controls? What about a terrifying first-person horror game? An action game? Third-person shooter? Or whatever this is? I mean, seriously, who comes up with this stuff? There are so many different kinds of Resident Evil games. I mean, if you had someone play Resident Evil 6 blind, and then play Resident Evil 7, they would probably assume that these are two games from two completely different franchises. The newest release in the series, Resident Evil Requiem, seems to strive to combine all of these disparate aspects of the franchise into one cohesive, high-quality experience, which celebrates the history of the franchise and innovates to create something new. Considering that the 30th anniversary of the series took place just after the release of Requiem, it makes sense that Capcom would want to release something that seems like a combination of all that came before. But does that actually work in practice? Does it even make sense? The game was released about a month ago now to critical acclaim. People seem to love this game. Not including the modern remakes, it is the highest rated game in the series since Resident Evil 4, which is the best game in the series and one of the best games ever made. Fight me.
No thanks, bro.
So is Requiem deserving of such praise? Did Capcom finally find a way to balance classic survival horror with action in a seamless way? Well, yeah, for the most part. The game is very good. In my opinion, it's the best modern RE title, excluding, the remakes. But it's not perfect. It definitely has some issues, don't get me wrong. But this game is exactly the kind of game that we've been waiting for. And I want to take some time to talk about its gameplay mechanics, story, as well as reflect on how Capcom has evolved the series over time. Because I think it's really interesting. And this is my channel. And I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. So that's what I'm going to do. And spoiler warning, obviously. Requiem begins at an FBI field office, where we are introduced to one of our two protagonists.
Grace Ashcroft.
Yes?
My office.
Coming.
Grace Ashcroft here is a technical analyst for the FBI. It seems she's been investigating some strange deaths tied to the outbreak in Raccoon City 28 years later. You know, the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3. Her boss tells her that another body has turned up and has tasked her with investigating in person. The strange part of this, though, is that the body was found in the Wynwood Hotel, the place where Grace's own mother was murdered. I mean, far be it for me to say, but wouldn't you assign literally anyone else to do this? Grace should be the last person that you send to that location. Whatever.
Perhaps it's time for you to face the past. Confront that fear head on. Grace, I won't force you to go. But do you think you can do this for me?
He tells her to face the past, and Grace agrees.
Oh, you're FBI?
I am.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fifth one now, right? I heard they all have the same weird bruises, so you think it's something infectious, or terrorism, or... Why else would the FBI be investigating, right?
Now we arrive at the Wynwood Hotel, where immediately we notice something is off. And by something off, I mean there are pictures of Grace everywhere. Yeah, looks like we've got a stalker. We get a brief flashback to when Grace was here with her mother, Alyssa Ashcroft, who longtime fans of the series may recognize as one of the protagonists from the Outbreak games. You know, it feels good to have the return of a legacy character that we haven't seen in 22 years, and... Oh yeah, I forgot.
Found you.
Alyssa is brutally murdered by this weird assassin guy, who then just dies. It's all very strange, and it's clearly setting up some kind of mystery that we're going to have to uncover. Now, I want to stop for a moment and just point out how absolutely stellar the voice acting is here. Angela Santalbano is the actress who plays Grace, and I might have just butchered her name, but she does a phenomenal job as Grace, and this scene absolutely highlights that. Before Alyssa's death, though, she is able to hide her bag behind a painting in the hotel, and she makes it clear that they are being hunted for a reason, although she doesn't get the chance to explain herself. Back in the present day, Grace finds her mother's bag, which has a journal and a disc. Before she can leave, though, she is attacked by this police officer from outside, who turns into a zombie. Yes, a zombie. Finally, we get to go back to fighting zombies in this game, instead of mold monsters, werewolves, and vampires like the previous two games.
Starting to go a little stale.
Then let's devour his man-flesh quickly, Mother.
I am the one who captured him.
Now, daughters. First, I must inform Mother Miranda. But later, well, there will be enough for everyone.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. The original Resident Evil games were all about zombies and bioweapons, and it feels good to have that back in Requiem. I've also got to give props to Capcom for really trying to make zombies scary in this game. We'll talk about this a bit more later, but I mean, look at this guy. Grace escapes the zombie and then runs upstairs for safety. But what she finds there is anything but.
Hello?
It hasn't been easy. But after much effort, here we finally are.
Who are you?
I'm the one who planted that body. I'm the one that brought you here. I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
The strange man captures her, and then we cut to black. But then...
Talk to me. Is this one like the others?
Well, same black blotches.
And it's not post-mortem lividity.
No. No, this is different. That's 6 now. 6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. No, it's not.
But I have something for you. The team has settled on a person of interest. Someone with ties to Umbrella. Victor Gideon.
Who is he?
A former T-virus researcher. Hey, I just got a report of a missing police officer. It might be unrelated, but he disappeared near where the 5th body was found. You there, Leon?
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Our boy is back after 14 years. Leon S. Kennedy is here in Rinwood investigating the same case as Grace. Not only that, but Sherry is back as his dispatcher as well. Good to see them working together. Anyway, Sherry tells Leon about Victor Gideon, the weird snake man who abducted Grace, and who worked for Umbrella as a T-virus researcher back in the day. As Leon drives to Rinwood, he literally sees Victor walking down the street with Grace. He gets out to pursue him on foot, but Victor gets away by infecting townspeople with a mutated strain of the T-virus, causing a small-scale zombie outbreak as a distraction. As Leon, we get to work.
Get Brentwood locked down.
What? Is it something to do with Victor?
Yeah. He's the one to thank for all the excitement. Shit!
Thank you! Get out of here, now!
Leon, have you located Victor?
No, I lost him. Back to square one.
Not necessarily. Victor purchased a building after Umbrella went under. The Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. I'll send you the address. Leon? We're running out of time.
Grace wakes up in the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, being drained of her blood. She smartly pulls on the tube, causing the IV stand to fall over and break. Then she uses the glass to cut herself free. She escapes, but now finds herself being stalked by this thing. We don't know what kind of creature this is, but we learn it's hurt by light, so Grace is able to navigate around the hallway without being eaten. During this, Leon arrives at the care center to investigate, which causes Victor to put the building in lockdown, purposefully infecting his staff and patients to try and stop Leon. Now there's really some evil in this residence. Leon's too busy admiring his $2,175 limited edition Hamilton Auto Chrono to help the woman getting brutally murdered in front of him, but after that, it's game time.
I think I want a second opinion.
This is where we are truly introduced to the combat mechanics in this game, at least for Leon. In Resident Evil 4, Leon's in his prime. He is agile and fast, able to backflip his way out of danger. In Requiem, he's much older. He moves slower. This time around, Leon's gameplay focuses on shot placement and parrying more so than ever. It encourages you to be aggressive, moving towards the enemies, rather than moving around or away from them as you shoot them like in RE4. I know Capcom said this was meant to be an evolution of RE4 Remake's gameplay, but I dare say it reminded me of Resident Evil 6. And I know that might make some people worried to hear, but it felt like a combination of the best elements of both Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil 6's gameplay. For example, Leon can pick up enemy weapons and use them temporarily. This seems like an evolution of Resident Evil 6's stun mechanic, where you can pick up enemy weapons and use them for finishers. There's also a really cool Doom 2016 style environmental glory kill mechanic, where Leon can use the environment itself as a weapon. This doesn't happen very often unless you go out of your way to try and set one of these animations up, but it is really cool when it happens, and it feels right for Leon to be able to do this, in spite of how unrealistic making a zombie's head explode with your foot is. If anyone can do it though, it would be him. I actually thought this was a new mechanic, but then I went and replayed the beginning of Resident Evil 6 for this video, and noticed that this was present in that game as well. From what I can tell, Capcom streamlined and combined Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 4 Remix gameplay into one for this game, just removing the features that were unnecessary. There is no sprinting, dual wielding, dodge rolling, or the ability to go prone. Having the ability to temporarily use enemy weapons and execute finisher animations, on top of having the parry mechanic from the Resident Evil 4 remake, makes Leon's gameplay super satisfying and cinematic. It's a lot of fun. We clear out this wing of the care center and then run into Grace.
Hey, over here.
Leon saves her, handing her the Requiem, aka the hand cannon of all hand cannons, before they get separated by a closing gate. Then Leon finally meets Victor.
She won't get away, you know.
Dr. Gideon.
Victor subdues Leon, demonstrating immense strength, while commenting on Leon's symptoms.
I see you're exhibiting symptoms, too. Umbrella's curse.
We then switch back to Grace, who finds a strange room where a young girl is being held behind glass.
Is someone there? Oh, I'm sorry if I surprised you. Cataracts. You can't see, can you?
Who are you?
Was there someone in the other cell? Why are you in there?
Everyone's gone.
Stay away from that!
Are you alright?
Get away!
No, hold on. No. I'm sorry.
Grace doesn't know what to make of this, so she takes the flashlight and the West Wing keycard from the man's body and heads out into the main hall. This is where the game truly begins. Leon's gameplay is meant to make him feel powerful and badass, and Grace's gameplay is the exact opposite. Grace has limited resources, shaky aim, and can only counter enemy attacks using knives, similar to in the Resident Evil or Resident Evil 2 remakes. Once a knife is used on an enemy, it is gone, unless you can kill that enemy and take it back. These knives have limited durability as well. She can, however, push enemies that are stunned. It doesn't do any damage, but it is really useful for navigating through tight areas. I also should mention that the developers included both first-person and third-person camera options, but that they recommend first-person for Grace, which helps to enhance the immersion, and therefore enhance the horror. Grace's gameplay is very similar to the gameplay of, say, Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 7, the Resident Evil games that are all about survival horror and resource management. Whereas Leon's gameplay is much more in line with Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, that action-based games. They were like, well, do we make a horror game or an action game? And someone at Capcom said, why not both? And now here we are. It is a bit jarring in the beginning because of the frequent switching between Grace and Leon, but once they both arrive in the care center, it becomes much more balanced. And long-term fans of the series will find themselves right at home swapping between the two perspectives. In classic Resident Evil fashion, we, as Grace, have to explore the entirety of the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center to find important resources and key items, so that we may have a chance to escape. And I just have to say, this might be one of the best survival horror locations in the series, maybe even the genre. The map design is exactly what you would want. It is a large, mansion-esque building with tons of interconnected rooms and hallways, but all the rooms feel unique and memorable, similar to the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil 1, or the RPD from Resident Evil 2. It's clear the devs put a lot of work into making every room in this building unique. As big as the building is, it is actually quite hard to get lost. Not only this, but the wings of the care center all loop back around to the main hall, helping to make backtracking feel less annoying. One of the coolest ideas when it comes to the level design in this game is that in the parlor, there are unlockable upgrades, just like the ones in Resident Evil 7. You can collect antique coins throughout the map or from killing specific enemies, and those can be used to unlock those upgrade cases. Except this time around, the upgrades are not located in a safe room, but now they're located in an area which is patrolled by dangerous enemies, like the Cook. It's a lot like Resident Evil 2's Armory. It's a nice touch. There's also a new blood mechanic which plays into what items you can craft. Once Grace finds the blood collector, she can, well, collect blood. The blood can be used to craft useful items like the new hemolytic injector, which allows for an instant kill on any regular zombie, causing them to literally explode. You can also use blood to craft bullets and healing items. Not entirely sure how that works, but it's a game mechanic, and it's a very good game mechanic, so we'll give it a pass. You can find blood in buckets or puddles across the map, or you can create new ones by killing enemies. There's even a bathtub full of blood located in the West Wing bathroom, but getting there requires passing by multiple zombies, and it's an area that's patrolled by the Cook, so it's up to you whether or not it's worth going there. The Care Center really is one of the best locations in the series, but not just because of the level design. Whoever at Capcom had the idea to make the zombies retain aspects of their personalities and jobs needs a raise. These are, without a doubt, the best zombies in the series. Instead of the mindless flesh-eating monsters that all act the same, these zombies all act differently. There's the Cook, who's big and can block a hallway he's walking through. He wanders around searching the building for meat, meaning you. There's the singers who you can hear from far away and will scream piercingly if they see you. You also have the zombies who try to turn off the lights, or the zombies who hate noise. You can actually manipulate these zombies in certain ways too. If I turn on a light near a zombie who's turning off the lights, he'll wander over to the switch and turn it back off. I can use this to get around without having to interact with that zombie. You can even cause noise on purpose around the IV stand zombie to get him to attack other zombies. There are a few other types of zombies as well, and they all make the game so much more interesting. Not only this, but it fleshes out these zombies as former people now turned into something truly tragic. The singers and chunks are a good example. They were patients in the care center. If you do some digging around in the files scattered around the building, you can learn their names and backstories. The chunks, for example, are named Thomas and Timothy Jackson. They were brothers who were experimented on, having the part of their brains which causes the feeling of fulfillment removed, causing them to develop extreme appetites. After being infected with the mutated T-virus strain, they began eating anything and everything they could, which is how they became the deformed, huge creatures we see them as. The singers, on the other hand, named Selena Corey and Eileen Zimmerson, were two patients who had histrionic personality disorder, causing them to act in overly dramatic, narcissistic, and even seductive, attention-seeking ways. Some files indicate that the two actually had a rivalry and competed for the attention of other patients. This is in line with how they act when we run into them. These two zombies are maybe the only zombies in the franchise that don't outright attack you, at least not initially. They tend to try and get your attention, dancing and singing for you. If you come here as Leon later in the game and Grace hasn't killed her, Selena will actually make a heart sign at him as she shambles toward him. But don't mistake the unique behavior for any kind of safety. She definitely will still kill you if you're not careful.
Sorry to cut your act short.
As you progress through the care center, Grace will collect new wristbands and various levels of access, allowing you to enter new areas. Our goal is to find the 3 quartz cubes we can insert into the courtyard door to escape. We can find them locked inside these puzzle boxes. There's one in the chairman's office, the lead researcher's office, and the security manager's office. Grace can find the combination to one by using the pencil to trace on an employee's notebook. Another requires us to find acid to break off a lock before we can even access it. When we return with the acid, we are confronted by the man who abducted us.
Miss Ashcroft, come in. I won't harm you. I was just looking for Dr. Richardson.
Why did you kidnap me?
Kidnap you? I liberated you.
Who are you?
Oh, forgive me. Dr. Victor Gideon. I run this center. It took forever to find you. You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique.
Victor makes it clear that Grace is important, although we don't know why yet. And he tells us that Phase 2 is beginning, as we get a glimpse of a corpse mutating. Grace has had enough of Victor's monologuing, though, and decides to dip out.
Would you like to see what's hidden under the hood?
Victor leaves, and we can unlock the puzzle box, using images around the room to find the combination. After this, there is one left, and the buttons are written in Braille, meaning our escape may very well be left in the hands of that mysterious, creepy young girl.
Hey. Why did they put you in there?
I don't know. I've always been here.
Do you mind if I come in?
I don't mind.
Sorry. I'm with the police.
Police?
Yes. I'd like you to come with me.
Why?
I'm Grace. What's your name?
Emily?
Emily. You like reading?
Yeah.
Do you think you could read something for me? Please, I really need your help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now that Emily has agreed to help us, we have to take her to the puzzle box, which is on the opposite side of the care center. Since we're carrying her, we can no longer defend ourselves from enemies. We have to be extremely careful. When we arrive at the office, we drop Emily at the puzzle box and go outside to defend her as Victor's Phase 2 commences, causing zombies to wake up around us, and some even mutating into something new. These are Blister Heads. Inspired by the Crimson Head enemies from Resident Evil Remake, Blister Heads are mutations that sometimes occur after killing zombies, meaning that potentially any zombie that we killed in the care center could come back as a much faster and far more dangerous threat. The only way to make sure that they stay dead is to use a hemolytic injector or to completely destroy the head. Luckily for this section, the Blister Head is easy to avoid, allowing us to return to Emily, who has successfully opened the puzzle box. Unfortunately for us, though, an old friend returns.
Oh, Emily, thank you. Emily!
Needing the cube and feeling responsible for Emily's safety, Grace descends into the basement. It's always a good time when the horror game makes you go into the basement. After all of this, we finally get to check in on Leon, and he's in a bit of a predicament.
Or we can begin your treatment.
A silent treatment, I hope.
You're an investigator, right? We'll investigate. What do you want to know? Is this where I conduct my research? The answers to your disease here.
You know, I do have a question. When's the last time you brushed your teeth?
Leon is prepared for anything, though, and is able to cut the rope to escape.
You're a dead man walking.
Now we get to meet one of the chunks as Leon, and this serves as the first boss fight of the game. This fight is relatively straightforward. Avoid Chunk when he's charging and get him stuck in a doorway to land some free hits on him. Eventually Chunk will break all the doorways, slowing him down, forcing you to climb up above him. After a few minutes of fighting Chunk, he will eventually fall, or explode, I guess. Then Leon can move down from the attic into the care center where Grace was before. This part is so much fun. Remember all those zombies that were terrorizing Grace for the last few hours? Now we get to give them a taste of their own medicine. Leon gets to open some containers that Grace couldn't open herself, too. And for the first time since 1998, we get to see something akin to the zapping system from RE2, where any items Grace took for herself aren't here for Leon, but anything she left still is. It's just nice to see that feature return to some extent. Anyway, Leon makes his way through the care center to Victor's office, where we now have to deal with those Blister Heads, and we find out some not so surprising but still bad news.
I'm in.
Okay, hit me. Sherry. You're killing me.
I found some information about our illness. Our symptoms confirm a T-virus infection.
The bodies that Leon and Grace were investigating were deaths caused by a dormant strain of the T-virus, which only now has started manifesting. Due to being survivors of the Raccoon City outbreak, both Leon and Sherry are currently infected, and there is no evidence of a cure. Our only lead is Elpis, the code name for what Victor is researching. I want to take a moment to talk about the story and its inspiration before we move on. The developers of this game have stated that it is heavily inspired by the 1991 psychological thriller The Silence of the Lambs. The film follows Clarice Starling, a young FBI agent tasked with interviewing the infamous cannibal serial killer Dr. Hannibal Lecter, as the FBI believes his insights could help solve a current serial killer case. Obviously, there are some similarities between Clarice and Grace, but there's more than that. The antagonist of the film, other than Hannibal, is the serial killer known as Buffalo Bill. The devs have stated that he directly inspired Victor Gideon's design and personality in this game. From the night vision goggles to the way he uncomfortably caresses Leon's hair. It all feels very in line with this movie. Also, having Emily kept behind glass when Grace is interacting with her is very reminiscent of how Clarice interacts with Hannibal. I really like this film and highly recommend it to any fans of the genre who haven't seen it. It's a classic. Speaking of Emily, though, Grace explores the basement. Luckily, Emily is alive. Not only that, she's actually fine, uninjured, which is strange.
It collects things.
In order to get to her, though, we need to find 3 joint plugs to power cell doors to free Emily. At this point, it should be very clear that the care center is no normal medical practice. Deranged experiments have been taking place on the patients, which we learned about earlier, but here in the basement we find even darker things taking place. I mean, what kind of medical practice needs prison cells or a giant meat grinder? As Grace explores, she's hunted by the girl. This part of the game is also really well designed. Because the joint plugs are what power the lights, we can use them to combat the girl, but sometimes we have to use the joint plugs to open the doors to let us into the dark areas to find the items we need. Connecting the key items that we need to the lights in the area while we are being stalked by an enemy that can't be in light is a very cool idea, and it allows for some really dynamic gameplay encounters. Now, I will say the girl is more so scripted than anything else. She doesn't act like the previous stalker enemies in the series, like Mr. X or Jack Baker, who roam around the map constantly hunting you. Instead, the girl responds to specific triggers, roaming around small areas before climbing into the ceiling to wait for the next trigger. It's not quite as dynamic as the previous stalker enemies in the series, but it still works very well, especially considering that this is a relatively small area compared to the care center's first and second floors. Eventually, though, we get the joint plugs, free Emily, and make our escape in the elevator. The girl tries to stop us, dropping into the elevator just as we escape. She grabs Grace's leg, trying to pull her back into the elevator as the weight causes the cable to snap. The elevator drops, and we hear the break of bone and muscle. The camera pans down, revealing that Grace's leg is intact, and the monster's hand has been severed. On my first playthrough, this really got me. I actually thought for a moment that Grace's leg had been torn off. Considering the treatment Capcom gave Ethan in the last 2 games, it wouldn't have been too surprising. I mean, seriously, that guy was losing limbs like it was his full-time job. This was an example of Capcom using our prior knowledge of the series to subvert our expectations. They also did this with Emily as well. In the last 2 Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 7 and Village, one of the major antagonists was Evelyn, a young girl with borderline supernatural powers. She is absolutely evil and terrifying, and is responsible for all of the events of Resident Evil 7, the infection of the Bakers and the creation of the molded enemies that we face. Here in Requiem, we have another young creepy girl. At the beginning of the game, we don't have any reason to trust her. She is innocent looking, sure, but everything around her implies that we should be afraid of her. After all, she's locked away, similar to Hannibal Lecter. Over the course of the game, though, at least up to this point, she's been nothing but helpful and kind to us. Grace has come to care about her, and we as the audience likely have too. She actually does turn out to be an innocent young girl. She's important in a way that we don't understand yet, sure, but not evil. Not a threat to us.
Here, I kept this safe for you. Thank you.
Now that we finally have the last quartz cube, Grace and Emily exit the care center and walk out into the courtyard.
Finally. We made it. We did it.
Here we meet Harry, a pilot working for Victor. He tells us he can fly us out of here if we can just find the helicopter key in Victor's house behind the care center. He's got a leg injury and doesn't think he'd be able to avoid the zombies, so that leaves the task up to Grace. We strap Emily into the helicopter and then head into Victor's house. We search his belongings, including one bottle of Lady Dimitrescu's brand of wine, which gives us a key item that we need. We use it, and the office drops down into a lab beneath the estate.
What? What the hell?
Classic Resident Evil. We find the key, and then Grace evades Victor, who demonstrates the quickest lock-in in Resident Evil history.
I've done it. I've done it.
I love this guy. He's so goofy. Anyway, Victor triggers the destruction of the lab, and we need to find a way to escape. The lab then proceeds to, quite literally, fill with blood. I hate when that happens. Grace reaches the surface and gives the key to Harry, but they're swarmed by zombies, causing the helicopter to barely get off the ground before crashing. Harry is killed, and Emily is injured. Luckily, Leon hears the commotion from the lab and the helicopter and rushes to help. We switch to Leon, running across the roof with a sniper rifle, protecting Grace and Emily. Then we drop down to help on foot.
Excuse me.
Here, we face a new enemy, the Blisterborn. We have to pop orange bulbs on his chest and back, but when we do, it sprays blood that mutates the regular zombies nearby into Blister Heads. It's no match for Leon, though.
Time to clear all the rest.
As Leon fights these zombies, Grace takes Emily into the water treatment plant, where we are once again confronted by the girl. Grace gets Emily to a safe location and heads into the facility for the first and only boss fight we have as Grace. In this encounter, we have to activate 3 generators to open the roof and let the dawn's sunlight in. The girl actually wanders around here more dynamically than in any other location in the game. You can stun her with spotlights or with Requiem shots, but you can't actually fight her. Your best bet for this encounter is to simply do your best to avoid her until the generators are active. After that, we just go to the top and activate the roof hatch, raining sunlight onto the girl, finally putting an end to her pursuit of Grace. We return to Emily.
Emily? Oh no! Wake up! Come on!
Emily mutates, revealing she was infected the whole time, her injury speeding up the process. Leon arrives and decides to put her out of her misery. Grace is devastated.
I wanted to save her!
You don't understand.
No, I never would have escaped without her. This is all my fault. Again.
Look, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But we're still alive. We have to keep going.
No.
Grace.
Grace has lost faith. She's given up. Leon's infection is getting worse. Our heroes are in a bad place. But Victor isn't done with them yet. And neither is his boss.
Alpus is within reach, Grace. I'd like you to come with me.
Come with you.
Well, you feel lost, but you're not. You're exactly where you need to be.
I've been waiting for you, Grace.
Who are you?
Raccoon City. You're the reason for its destruction, but you're also the key to building a brave new world. You're the final piece. Let us show you your true purpose.
For those who haven't played the previous games, you might just think to yourself, oh, this is a cool introduction for a new villain. But if you're a fan of the series, you probably freaked out at this part, for good reason. That, my friends, is Albert Wesker, the most iconic villain from the franchise. Or is it? At a first glance, one might assume that this is Wesker, brought back to life after the events of Resident Evil 5. But there's something off. There's some subtle hints that this man is someone different. Wesker didn't smoke. He's also wearing an earring and a gaudy white three-piece suit, which is the opposite of what Wesker would wear. Wesker traditionally wore dark colors, usually all black, and he never wore earrings. Physically, this looks like Wesker. It's his face, his hair, his voice, but everything else about him seems to hint that this may very well be someone else. The mystery keeps growing. We check back in with Leon and Sherry, and find out that the DSO ordered them to shut down their investigation. It's clear someone very high up does not want them to find out what's happening. They obviously just keep going, because what's a little bit of government corruption going to do to stop our boy? He drives past a very iconic sign letting us know where we are. We're going back to where it all began. Great cutscene. There's only one glaring issue. This city was nuked. This shouldn't be here. And this leads me to, I guess, one of my major criticisms I have with this game. Not that it's really a criticism, it's just pointing out an inconsistency. The narrative is full of big retcons. We'll talk about this more in detail later, but for now, I want to touch on the existence of Raccoon City, which doesn't make much sense. Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil Outbreak both show the city being nuked in great detail. Now, the remake of 3 is a bit more ambiguous, and it's implied that maybe it was a thermobaric missile that hit the city rather than a nuke, meaning that much of the city might still be standing, but this is a blatant retcon set by the remake timeline. But Requiem is a sequel to the original series, not the remakes. Or have the remakes replaced the originals in the canon? Capcom isn't clear about this. It just seems like Capcom decided, well, wouldn't it be cool to have Leon go back to Raccoon City, and didn't really care much about if it made sense. I know the story of Resident Evil isn't exactly the most consistent thing in the world, but I want you to keep this in mind as we move forward. We'll start to notice a bit of a trend. That said, seeing Raccoon City in this state 28 years after the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3 is very cool, and it makes for a great setting for this game in particular. Leon parks his customized Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT on the outskirts of the city so it doesn't get destroyed, and then he starts making his way downtown on foot. Now this is the point in the game where we truly switch perspectives. The whole first half of the game was spent mostly as Grace, therefore we were really playing a survival horror game for all of that time. But now Leon takes the center stage, and the game really does just turn into an action game. In fact, we have a boss fight immediately here against a giant spider called the Titan Spinner. This is one of the better boss encounters in this game. Unless you hate spiders, then it's probably the worst. Just like the city itself, it becomes very clear that the monsters infesting the city are still here as well. Which begs the question, what was the point of the bombing? Was it not a nuke or a thermobaric missile? Was it something else? Or am I thinking too much into this? It's just strange to go back to a location which shouldn't exist, fighting enemies that were said to have been wiped out. It's a Resident Evil game. I guess it's not that serious, but there should have been some kind of consistency. That said, it is good to have a spider enemy back. We haven't seen them, as far as I'm aware, since the Resident Evil Remake in 2002. They were in the original Resident Evil 2 and 3, but were cut from the remakes for whatever reason. Regardless, Leon wipes the floor with the Titan, and then drops a one-liner like it's another day at the office.
I miss our Raccoon City hospitality.
Leon finds a locked gate blocking our path to the Raccoon City center, and in classic Resident Evil fashion, we need to find multiple parts of a detonator and combine them to destroy the gate. Leon makes his way to an old BSAA camp, which becomes our save area for this part of the city. Leon opens a laptop to investigate.
Interesting.
What is it?
The computer's not locked. They were also headed to the center of Raccoon City.
Interesting, too. That reminds me. I dug a little deeper in the Pentagon's database, and I noticed something's missing.
What's that?
There's no record of anyone ordering the missile strike on Raccoon City.
Well, if not them, then who?
Leon triggered the alarm. It looks like your campaign to make the DSO stand down really didn't work, Zeno.
We'll leave this matter to you, then.
So here we have confirmation of a few things. First of all, this man is not Wesker. Victor refers to him as Zeno. Secondly, Zeno is manipulating the leadership of the DSO, similarly to how Victor was using the FBI. This is confirmation of corruption in both organizations, and thanks to the events of Village, we know that the BSAA's leadership is also corrupt. And thirdly, we find out that the US government didn't order the missile strike on Raccoon City. This is another big, messy retcon. In the original Resident Evil 3, it's clear that the President and Congress ordered the strike, and then in Resident Evil 6 we learn that Derek Simmons, you know, the bad guy from that game who led the family, pushed the President and Congress into the strike. Now we're finding out that the connections were involved in this too. Also, the Pentagon carried out the strike, so they would have had to have been given orders. The way this scene is written makes it seem as though the President, Congress, and the Pentagon didn't order the strike and just simply covered up information about who did, which would have been the connections. I think the intention was just to say that the connections were colluding with Simmons and had the Pentagon strike the city, but then wipe any evidence of their involvement. It just isn't written really clearly. Again, this isn't a huge issue, but I wanted to point it out. Back in the camp, Leon finds a weapon crate, which acts as a store for weapons, weapon attachments, upgrades, ammo, armor, etc. Basically, the merchant got replaced with AI. The job market's a rough place nowadays, man, let me tell you. One thing's for sure, this box can't compete with the customer service skills of our boy.
This gun turns heads into pumpkins, mate. Take this for a rampage through the patch.
We grab some supplies and make our way through the city where we come across zombies. Still here after the missile strike 28 years prior. I guess the missile really didn't work. Not only are the zombies still here, but they're smarter now, able to use weapons which they couldn't before. Not entirely sure how these zombies somehow evolved while decomposing over the course of 28 years, but hey, it's Resident Evil, I guess. And come on, were they going to have us run through Raccoon City fighting nothing for hours? Still, this deserves an explanation. I will say, I really like how different these zombies look to the ones we usually see in the series. It's clear Capcom wanted to make them look like they've been decomposing. They look reminiscent of the walkers from the Walking Dead series. It's cool. That said, I do have to say it's a bit disappointing that we spent so much time around zombies with different personalities and gameplay mechanics, just to find ourselves in a place with generic zombies that all function mostly the same way again. To make up for this, it seems Capcom made the enemies here have a wide variety of different weapons, meaning different kinds of attacks. It's just far less interesting than the zombies in the care center. Regardless though, Leon's been through this before and knows what to do. We clear out multiple buildings, working our way down the street. Resident Evil 6 had a lot of issues, one of which being the lack of downtime in between combat encounters. There was too much action too frequently, and it caused the game to get boring. The game also had nothing in common with the rest of the series when it comes to level design. Resident Evil is known for intricate, interconnected locations, where you can solve puzzles and find keys to open shortcuts or obtain useful items. Here in Requiem, though, there seems to be an effort made to rectify that. For Leon, the gameplay is heavily reminiscent of Resident Evil 6, especially now that the zombies are using weapons similarly to the ones infected with the C virus in that game. The BSAA gun zombies are a perfect example. They are ripped straight from Resident Evil 6. In spite of this, Capcom seems to have addressed a lot of the issues with RE6's design. There's plenty of downtime, exploration, and backtracking in this section of the game, and it makes it feel much better than it probably otherwise would have. For example, there are these BSAA containers we can open once we find a key. There is one crate we have to open for the story, but there are several others hidden throughout the city, containing useful items and collectibles. Some new enemies will show up when we backtrack as well. It's good to see this. There are some genuinely fun encounters in this area too. The gas station chainsaw fight is probably the highlight in my opinion, although this zombie doesn't make any sense. Someone came and put this spiked metal helmet on this zombie so we can't shoot him in the head. He also has chains around his arms and neck, implying he was likely used as a weapon by somebody. The only people who could have done this would have been BSAA soldiers that came through here. But I don't know why they would do that. It's just for fun, I guess. This zombie in particular seems directly inspired by The Walking Dead, specifically this zombie that Rick fights at the trash heap. After clearing out a whole city block single-handedly, Leon makes his way into a partially collapsed skyscraper, where we can break the windows and make zombies drop to their deaths below. Once we get to the top and find the last item we need to make the detonator, we take this lift back down in an encounter very similar to the elevator fight in Resident Evil 4, just inverted. We return to the camp, grab an old BSAA motorcycle. What proceeds to happen after is one of the craziest moments in the whole series.
I don't give up that easy.
This is a horror game, by the way. After that, we play chicken with Victor.
Come on.
Should have worn a helmet.
This part is so insane it's hard to put into words, but I can tell you I had a grin as wide as the Joker's on my face playing this for the first time. As entertaining as this was, I think I'd only give Leon a pass for something like this. I don't want this kind of thing to become frequent in the series. I think this very well may be Leon's boulder punching moment. After all that, we finally arrive at the city's center, where Leon comes face to face with his past. We can see the police car he drove with Claire into Raccoon City. We walk up the same stairs to reveal the RPD.
There it is. The station.
Can't believe it's still standing.
Leon has to unlock the gate he locked 28 years earlier. And then we open the door.
It's on you now.
There's actually a lot to note here. When Leon opens the doors, we see flashbacks of Marvin and Elliot, two RPD officers Leon tried to save, but was unable to, both becoming zombies. As Leon approaches the BSAA laptop, he notices the Welcome Leon streamers that were originally hanging in the East office. In Resident Evil 2, this was set up by the RPD officers to welcome Leon to the team for his first day, but here it sends a bit more of an ominous message. Zeno knew Leon was coming, and moved this here on purpose, also leaving a note reading, "You can't save anyone," mirroring what Krauser told him in RE4.
You can't save her. You can't save anyone.
Give it up, Krauser!
If you played the original RE2, you may also recognize the music playing in the RPD as well. It's a slower rendition of the front hall theme. It's a really nice touch. Now all we need to do in this section is grab the mechanic jack from the library and open the gate to get into the west office. But a big portion of the RPD is still open, so we're going to explore. As we move through the station, we can find notes left behind by some of the officers before the events of Resident Evil 2, including notes from Barry Burton. We can also find that this infamous photo of Wesker's favorite STARS member is still here. This was a joke Easter egg in the original Resident Evil 2 that made its way into the remake, and now into Requiem. Rebecca's never going to live this down, huh? We can also find someone moving around the outside of the building. Yes, Tofu is canon now, I guess. It seems he's been roaming around Raccoon City slaying zombies for 28 years straight. This sentient piece of tofu might be more badass than Leon if that's true. After we conclude our trip down Fanservice Lane, we go to confront Timu Wesker. Zeno tells Grace that the missile strike on Raccoon City was actually done by the Connections to cover up the existence of Elpis, not necessarily to stop the spread of the outbreak. This is a big change to Resident Evil's lore. He also tells her that Emily was a clone of her, and that they've been cloning her since the 1990s. We then play through a flashback as one of the clones named Chloe, who witnesses an Umbrella experiment gone wrong at the Raccoon City orphanage. We watch as these strange, superhuman children murder the scientists, and then they chase us around. This is like Sherry's section in the orphanage in RE2, except worse. We just hide from the children 4 times and then find our way into a lab where we discover we're a clone. This really could have been a cutscene. Back in the current day, Zeno tells Grace that she is the only one who can unlock Elpis, because she is the original, not a clone. Now this is all an interesting revelation, especially here because Grace is not old enough to have been alive at the time. So there's clearly something up with this story that Zeno is telling us. Grace has a mental breakdown, and then Leon finally decides to enter the room.
Grace!
What the? Mr. Kennedy, I had a feeling you'd make an appearance. Sorry, but I don't have time to spare. Have fun.
I remember you.
Oh, God. I remember that, too.
Speaking of remembering, we're going to start noticing a trend with this game. This trend has been present throughout the first half of the game, but it's going to become more obvious as the game goes on. Just keep your eyes peeled, see if you notice it as we continue. Leon runs from a tyrant in the RPD again, and then makes his way outside. From here, we can actually go into the RPD's garage, where we can find the only reference to Ada in the whole game, in the form of the cute bear charm, which is next to the swap van she hit Mr. X with in RE2 Remake. Back outside, we make our way to Gun Shop Kendo, another iconic location from RE2, where Leon has flashbacks to Kendo and his daughter. Yet more people Leon wanted to help and couldn't.
Terminate. It's my fucking daughter. You're a cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen? Those fucking things outside. What they did to us.
I'm so sorry. Never again.
I recently played the original Resident Evil 2, and I just find it really funny that they made Kendo, who in that game was this goofy, relatively unimportant character, and turned him into one of the most tragic characters in the game. I mean, watch this.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
Sorry about that. I thought you were one of them.
What's going on in this town?
Hold Hold on. I don't have a clue. By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies.
That's Leon's interaction with Kendo in the original game. It's a night and day difference. Anyway, we head outside and have a boss fight with the Tyrant.
I couldn't save them. But I can stop bastards like you.
This fight is just a more fun version of the Super Tyrant fight from RE2 Remake. It functions very similarly, only this time Leon is much more capable, being able to parry the Super Tyrant and kill him with his hatchet, whereas in RE2 he needed a rocket launcher to kill Mr. X. This is my personal favorite boss encounter in this game. After killing Mr. X2, we head into the orphanage. It's kind of strange being here as Leon, considering he never came here in RE2. Instead, Claire and Sherry were both here. I also find it really surprising Sherry doesn't say anything to Leon about her time here, even though what she went through in this building was pretty traumatic. We're not here for long, though, dropping down into the tunnels below. We make our way through the subway and rappel down into the crater. Here, we come into contact with Plant 43, still alive beneath the city. After a brief boss fight, we kill the plant and open the door to Ark, the old Umbrella facility Zeno took Grace to. Inside the facility, we fight Umbrella Corps soldiers. Or I guess, Connections Corps soldiers. Or whatever, they're guards. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time in the series that we're just straight up fighting humans. It feels strange, but we make our way through the facility and into a hallway where this happens.
Backup is on the way.
Not necessary. I'll neutralize the target myself. Leon Kennedy. We finally meet.
Yep. Every Resident Evil fanboy had to change their pants after this. This guy, the commander, is pretty clearly HUNK, aka Human Unit Never Killed. It's his voice actor, his mask, he seems to know Leon. He even tries to use his iconic neckbreaker move on us. Come on, it's him. We duel for a bit in a fight very similarly designed to Leon's knife duel with Krauser in the RE4 remake. It's good to see Capcom getting use out of those knife mechanics they made. Ultimately, Leon comes out on top, slashing the commander's neck. If this really is HUNK, it's sort of sad to see him go out like that, but it's cool that it happened in a mainline game, considering he's never appeared in a mainline game's story. HUNK is basically the bonus mode guy, appearing in The Fourth Survivor in RE2, Mercenaries in RE4, as an unlockable character in the Outbreak games, and as a raid mode character in Revelations. He's also a main character in Operation Raccoon City, but that game isn't canon. That said, if we return to this area later, his body will be gone, and all the other bodies will still be here, implying that our boy possibly survived. Leon makes his way to the main chamber, where he briefly fights Zeno, and loses badly. Thanks to Grace threatening to, end herself, she's able to stop Zeno from killing Leon, giving them a chance to escape. They drop down deeper into the facility, and then Leon collapses.
What now? Leon. Leon!
He wakes up later and tells Grace about his infection, and his past here in Raccoon City.
Those marks.
It's T-virus. Stage 3 infection.
If you're so sick, why would you come here?
Please. Raccoon City was where it all began for me. Where it all happened, I couldn't make a difference. So I am here now.
We can't stop Zeno.
He said something about you having a password. What was he talking about?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Here.
I'm going back. I'm gonna destroy Elvis.
I'm coming with you.
No, you're not.
I don't want any more regrets. Whatever it takes, count me in.
For a moment, he sees himself in Grace, who almost directly quotes what he said to Ada 28 years earlier.
I want to find out what's happening here, and stop whoever's behind it. Helping people like them? That's why I joined the Force.
My mission is to take down Umbrella's entire operation. We may not make it out.
Whatever it takes to save this city. Count me in.
If anything happens to me, you promise you'll end this.
I promise.
They decide to work together to destroy Elpis. Leon gives Grace a boost, and she makes her way into the lab. At this point, Grace has grown as a character. Her aim is smoother, she's more confident and driven. The zombies and lickers in this facility, yes, lickers have returned, don't really scare her anymore. She wants this to end. After exploring the lab for a while in classic Resident Evil fashion, we find this terminal where Grace is finally able to use the disc Alyssa left her. Meanwhile, Leon makes his way through another part of the lab, fighting lickers and zombies as his body starts to break down. The virus is taking over.
Yeah. Let's get this over with.
He eventually makes it back to the doorway to the main chamber, but it may be too late.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
My research opened Pandora's box, unleashing disaster upon the world.
Except Elpis, the goddess of hope? Or so the myth goes. Who is that? Is that one of your subjects?
Of course not. She was alone in the world. I took her in to make amends.
Is she
perfectly normal? Just an average child needing a home. She is my hope.
In Alyssa's video, we find out that Grace was Oswell E. Spencer's adopted daughter. Perfectly normal. Not a subject for experiments. He wanted to make amends for all the destruction he caused. He wanted to do one good thing before his death. Taking Grace in was that one thing. She was his hope. He emphasizes that word, hope. So for those who don't know, Spencer is basically the father of Umbrella. He is responsible for the creation of the T-virus and the progenitor virus and many other kinds of bioweapons. His goal, according to him, was to push forward the evolution of mankind. Here, though, we find out that he is seeking atonement for what he's done. even though the last time we saw him, he was telling Wesker about his desire to become a god and create a master race.
I was to become a god. Creating a new world with an advanced race of human beings. However, all was lost with Raccoon City.
This reveal is completely out of character for Spencer, and it is yet another big retcon. It's not impossible for Spencer to be remorseful for what he's responsible for, but we don't really see that at all in Resident Evil 5, which is the last time we see him alive in the series. Because, Wesker kills him there. Now, I will say it does serve the story of Requiem. Having Grace be connected to someone like Spencer is a fascinating twist, and it really is another example of subversion of expectations. Every Resident Evil game has had some kind of bioweapon, or viral outbreak. Here, all the characters assume Elpis is yet another one, but it turns out to not be the case. When the video ends, Grace notices Leon on the camera and rushes to help him. She helps him stand and walks with him back into the chamber to confront Zeno.
It's okay. Sin left it wide open for us. Any wrong code will do. He'll destroy Elpis.
Let's try.
Grace, whatever it takes. I can buy you some time.
No. No, I have an idea.
I trust you. I trust you.
Grace says she knows the password, but that she'll only free Elpis if Zeno spares Leon. He agrees, and then we access the terminal and are given a choice. Free Elpis or destroy it. Now, for anyone who's been paying attention up to this point, this should be a relatively easy decision. Spencer is clear that Elpis is something he made to repent for all the evil he's done. It's heavily implied it's a cure for the T-virus, but only Grace knows this. Leon, Zeno, and Victor all assume it's another bioweapon, one that allows for mind control. If Grace decides to destroy Elpis, as Leon wants her to, the facility will start to fall apart, and Leon will push Grace to safety before being killed by Zeno.
At least I could save you. No. Wait. Wait.
Then Grace will escape by herself. It's a brutal, short ending. Good thing it's not canon. The canon ending has Grace releasing Elpis by typing the password, Hope. Then Zeno injects himself, losing his powers. Grace explains the truth behind Elpis, and then Victor shows up.
Amazing. I am humbled by my master's genius.
Zeno and Victor bicker with each other. Victor calls Zeno
An imitation.
seemingly confirming that Zeno is a clone of Wesker, or at least someone who has been given Wesker's traits. Then Victor kills Zeno, as Zeno is now powerless to stop him. Grace cures Leon, and then we drop down into the final boss arena for the game. It's finally time to fight Victor. This fight is brutal, but fun. I actually learned here that you can parry a rocket launcher with Leon's hatchet somehow. Not sure if this is intentional on Capcom's part, but it basically confirms Leon is a superhero at this point. We eventually push Victor into Phase 2, where he reveals he was a nemesis this entire time.
you're so damn relentless.
Looking back on it now, there were some hints about this. Victor has messed up skin, he's super tall, and he has a strange affinity for rocket launchers. This is effectively the same boss fight as Resident Evil 3 Remake's final Nemesis fight, except without the railgun. Leon doesn't need a railgun, just his hatchet and Requiem.
This time, you ain't getting back up.
We kill Victor, find Grace, and then get rescued by Chris Redfield's Hound Squad.
Leon S. Kennedy? Depends who's asking. Alpha, you read me, sir? Yeah, they're safe. I got them. Yes, sir. Mr. Kennedy, I have a message from Captain Redfield.
On the surface, Leon tells Sherry he's bringing her a cure, and then goes to talk to Grace. Grace says that she wishes they could have saved Emily, and then Leon says,
I didn't hit any of her vitals. She could still be alive.
What? Actually, I'm pretty sure we shot her in the heart. Whatever. Leon walks away and then puts on his wedding ring. Oh, I'm not even gonna get started on that. He's married to Ada, by the way. It's gotta be her. I mean, come on. I know there's gonna be angry people in the comments saying that Claire is the better woman and stuff like that. I understand your argument, but you're wrong. It's Ada. Ada is his wife. If she isn't, well, then what was the point of their 3-game-long relationship arc? Oh man, I know there's gonna be people pissed in the comments. Truthfully, I don't care either way, though. As long as our boy Leon is happy, then that's all that matters. I mean, watch Capcom have him be married to Jill or something. Just completely screw over both sides of the argument. We cut to an epilogue where we see that Emily was actually saved and has been adopted by Grace. Not only that, but her blindness has been cured thanks to Elpis. Then we see a brief in-credits scene where elite soldiers from the Connections find something from Ark's wreckage. And that's the story of Requiem. There's a lot here that I could talk about, and I did skip a lot of details throughout this video. But I want to bring this back to why I made this video in the first place. This game is supposed to be a combination of all that came before. Having finished the game, we can make the realization that this goes for the game both from a mechanic and narrative standpoint. We have Leon's gameplay, which draws from Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. We have Grace's gameplay that draws from the original trilogy, Resident Evil 7 and Village. We have a number of returning characters, enemies, and locations. It's actually an insane number when you think about it. There is a lot of fan service, almost too much so. We've got Leon, Sherry, HUNK, Alyssa, Spencer, Kendo, Marvin, Tofu, Wesker, he's a clone, but still. Raccoon City, the RPD, Gunshop Kendo, the Orphanage, Lickers, BSAA zombies, chainsaw enemies, giant spiders, a tyrant, Plant 43, Nemesis, etc. We wanted zombies back. We wanted Leon and Sherry back. This seems like a bit of an overcorrection, though. We even have lots of callbacks to dialogue from previous games as well.
I was just resting my eyes.
I was just resting my eyes.
Shouldn't sleep on the job.
Are you okay?
Me? I feel like $1 million.
How are you feeling?
Like $1 million. I'll keep our friends busy.
So kind of you to keep our friends busy.
Sorry, but I don't have time to spare.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you.
I don't want any more regrets. Whatever it takes, count me in.
Whatever it takes to save this city. Count me in.
The Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center and everything involving Grace was so fresh and felt like a natural evolution of the series, only for the game to turn into a Resident Evil Greatest Hits tour after the halfway point. After beating my first playthrough, as much as I enjoyed Leon's sections in Raccoon City, I just wanted more of Grace's content, more of the Care Center, or something like it. Again, I don't think any of the content in the game's later half is bad by any means. It is very fun and well designed, and I'll admit, as a fan, I ate it up. I just don't want this series to become one of those franchises that is constantly referencing itself for ideas, instead of innovating. One of the most admirable things about Resident Evil as a franchise is that it has constantly innovated and changed over time. Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7 wouldn't exist without Capcom changing up the formula and trying new things. This franchise has a bit of a scattered identity. It is different things to different people, but maybe that's the point. It's one of the reasons why Resident Evil has become so successful and garnered such a strong fan base compared to other survival horror franchises, or even just game franchises in general. Resident Evil is constantly creating new things. It doesn't always work out as intended, but it does guarantee that we will always be getting interesting and new experiences, set in a world with characters that we care about. It is unclear what the future of the series will be, but considering how wildly successful Requiem has been, I would hazard to guess that we're going to be seeing more of this kind of thing. I hope Capcom takes the zombies from the Care Center and expands on that idea. Maybe we'll finally get to see Jill again. We already know that we're going to be receiving a DLC for Requiem later this year, and apparently a remake of Code Veronica is currently in development too. So I suppose we'll see soon what Capcom decides to do. Regardless though, I'm sure we'll be having a lot more fun with this franchise in the future. That's it from me on this for now. If you're still here, I appreciate you watching this till the end. I've never made a video essay before, so I'm glad this was able to capture your attention for however long this video turned out to be. This was a fun exercise for me. I hope to make more of these retrospectives along with some reviews in the future. If you enjoyed it or if you have any feedback, feel free to let me know in the comments. I appreciate you. Take care.